Hello, I have 50 lakhs in FDs and I want to invest it for my dad's retirement. Since he's retired from a private job, I want him to get a fixed monthly income. Can we make this investment happen using mutual fund? Now, this was a message received to me from Rajesh in 2022, who is our client now. Today, I'll show you the exact strategy we use to turn long-term mutual fund investment into a monthly income like a pension kind of a setup for his father in India. And trust me, it's very simple as compared to what you might think. Now let's come to the screen. We invested this money into two mutual funds. One is Sundaram Aggressive Hybrid Mutual Fund and the second one is Edelweiss Balanced Advantage Mutual Fund. Both under the monthly IDCW reinvestment option. Now here's what most people don't understand about the monthly IDCW reinvestment option. Now when you choose a mutual fund, you have options of IDCW and growth. The IDCW means it gives you dividend at a given interval. It might be monthly, it might be quarterly, given the kind of mutual fund. Now, when you choose the IDCW option, the mutual fund might declare dividends. But now, instead of giving you cash in the dividend payout option, if you opt for a dividend reinvestment option, automatically the money gets reinvested into the same scheme and more units are bought. So it's basically like compound interest working in your favor, where steadily the number of units in your mutual fund keeps on increasing, whereas if you see growth mutual funds where only NAV increases and the number of units remain the same. Now, while we moved the money to his father's account and invested under his father's name to save taxes and all the dual taxation issues, for 3 whole years, which is from July 2022 to July 2025, the dividends from these funds were getting reinvested into this mutual fund. So if you see in Sundaram Mutual Fund, on every unit of investment, 23 paisa of dividend was getting declared. That means if they have total number of units as 116 lakhs, then for every unit he was getting 23 paisa as dividend. That means in the first month of making the investment, the dividend that got arised in Sundaram Mutual Fund was 29,000. And then this 29,000 was getting reinvested. Then again there was a new dividend, then again it was getting reinvested. So if you see, the NAV doesn't increase very fast in these investments, but the number of units keep on increasing, and that is the whole trick behind this investment strategy, where you actually don't want to increase the NAV and then do an SWP, which again I'll explain you towards the later part of the video. But what you want to do is increase the number of units, and that is where the entire skill lies. So if you see, month over month, when the dividend was getting reinvested into the same fund, the number of units were increasing. Similarly, if you see Edelweiss Mutual Fund, it was giving 15 paisa of dividend every month for every unit. So here we had 101 lakh units, and for every unit we were getting 15 paisa of dividends. So on 20 lakh rupees of investment, 15,000 dividend was getting arised every month. Now, like I said, this is a reinvest option. So we either could have taken the money into our account, this 15,000 would directly get deposited to our account, or the second option was to reinvest in the same mutual fund. Now, because we didn't need the income at that point, we let the reinvestment happen. So if you see in this case also, every month over month, the number of units were simply getting increased. Now, the good part of this strategy is, this is slightly tax efficient, again, which I'll explain you toward the later part. But before that, I want to show you the results of this investment strategy. Now, after 3 years, when Rajesh's father actually retired, you see the number of units in case of Sundaram Mutual Fund had almost reached to 1,60,000. So we started from 1,16,000 units, and now we have approximately 1,60,000 units. In case of NAV, the NAV actually did not increase a lot. So the NAV initially was 25 and now the NAV is 28. In this case, the number of dividends actually increased. Similarly, if you see for Edelweiss, the NAV was earlier 19 and now it is only 22. So the NAV didn't shoot up a lot, but what increased was the number of units. So we started at somewhere around 1,01,000 units and now the total units are 1,30,000 units. Now see the beauty of this strategy. If you would have invested into growth mode or if you invest into dividend reinvest mode, eventually the current value of your investment stays the same. But since the dividend is declared per unit, if we have more units, we can get more investment out on a monthly basis from this investment. So if you see Sundaram Mutual Fund, the latest dividend which got declared in the month of June this year was 39,700. as compared to the first dividend, which was 29,000. So we have 10,000 rupees more as dividend. In case of Edelweiss Mutual Fund, the recent dividend that got declared was 23,300 as compared to the 15,000 dividend that was declared exactly 3 years back. Now, what does this show us? Let me summarize this for you. You have number of units, you have the latest NAV, so that will help you compute the final value. And you also have the dividend rate, so you would know what kind of dividend you are going to receive every month. So what I've done is I have summarized all this on a single page here. Now, if you see the summary, Rajesh's father's age was 55 and we wanted the monthly income from after 3 years onwards, which is from last month onwards. Now, if you see total lump sum invested was 50 lakhs in June 2022. That time the dividend which was getting received was 44,000. But what we decided is we wanted to reinvest the dividend back into the same mutual funds. Cut back to now after 3 years, the current value of these investments is 77 lakh rupees. So your 50 lakhs became 70 lakhs, 77 lakhs, which would again happen in a growth mutual fund. So there's no difference in the total value at the end of growth mutual fund or dividend mode mutual fund. But the good part is we were now investing in a dividend reinvest mode, and now when his father wants money every month, we will switch from reinvest mode to a payout mode. That means instead of reinvestment, the money now starts coming to their bank account. And the latest dividend that he will get combined on these two investments is 63,000 per month. Isn't that fascinating that you made an investment of 50 lakh rupees into hybrid mutual funds? So these are not mutual funds with very high returns, 20%, 30%, nothing of that sort. These are balanced funds which give you very consistent returns. And those mutual funds also gave you a return where 50 lakhs became 73 lakhs and the dividend getting received every month is 63,000. So what this shows is, just by putting 50 lakh rupees, Rajesh's father is actually receiving 63,000 rupees of passive income every month. Isn't that fascinating? I mean, you can always reverse calculate and try to find out what amount of property will you require to get 63,000 worth of rent every month. So now let me address some questions that might be popping up in your mind. First is, you might be wondering about the sustainability of the income. Now, the beauty of dividend paying mutual funds, and the ones specially we chose in this situation, is that they typically have a consistent track record of payouts. There are many mutual funds who have 10, 15 years worth of history of paying dividends. However, it's important to understand that dividend rates can vary based on funds performance and market conditions also. Usually in many cases what happens is the dividend sort of stays fixed for every month, and the current value of your investment might fluctuate given the market situations. And one more benefit of choosing hybrid mutual funds is that it gives you downside protection in any case of volatility. Now, there are also some practical tips that anybody should consider before making this investment. First is, make sure that you choose mutual funds which have a consistent dividend giving history. Look for the funds that have been declaring dividends regularly for at least 4 to 5 years time horizon. Make sure that you select hybrids and multi-asset funds typically that offer predictable dividend patterns compared to pure equity mutual funds. Second, consider the timing of your switch from reinvestment to payout carefully. If you switch too early, you might miss out on the significant compounding benefits. If you switch too late, you might delay the income generation when it is needed the most. In case of Rajesh's father, 3 years of accumulation followed by an income generation struck the right balance for his family needs. Third, and the most important, always consider tax implications in both the countries. As an NRI, you need to understand how dividend income is taxed in India as well as in your country of resident. That's why, to simplify matters, investing through your resident family member, if the family members need income, is something that you should consider. Also, make sure that you understand that diversification is always going to be the key. Don't put all your money into a single fund or strategy. In case of Rajesh, we definitely chose 2 mutual funds to make sure that we have fund houses level diversification also to be able to maintain the income that we want. Flexibility of this approach and liquidity that we get into this strategy is one of the major advantage. And this was also struck Rajesh. Rajesh said that, Alok, if I would have bought a property, I might not be able to liquidate that partially if at all required. But this investment is also liquidable and we are getting way more returns as compared to another investment. So in case of emergency also, I can remove partially or fully some part of this money. Now many viewers might also ask, why didn't you use an SWP and how is an SWP different from a dividend payout mode? If you have these kind of questions and if you like my strategy, make sure that you comment on this video and I'll make a separate explainer video on how SWP is different from dividend payout strategy. Also, please don't take this video as financial advice because the funds vary depending on situation, life and market conditions. So if you need any help, if you are an NRI who has money lying around in his fixed deposits, don't need it for 5 to 10 years, please reach out to us. If you want to create an income stream for your parents, we can help you do that. Or if you want to grow your wealth, we are absolutely here for you. I hope you like this video. I am Alok Dubey. I am a lead financial advisor at Prime Wealth. And if you need any help, join our NRI only WhatsApp community, for which the link is in the description below. Thank you and I'll see you in the next.